A senior advisor to the Iranian supreme leader told Al Jazeera that Iran is technically capable of making a nuclear bomb, but had not decided whether to build one. This comes after Biden's 4-day trip to the Middle East, where he vowed to stop Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. Professor, author, and executive vice president at the Quincy Institute, Trita Parsi, is with us to discuss. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So do you think this comment is accurate and Iran, in fact, is capable of making a nuclear weapon but has not decided to greenlight such a project?
Yes, this is already what we have known. This is aligning itself quite accurately with what the U.S. intelligence agencies as well as other intelligence agencies have said, which is that at this point, the Iranians have enough 60% enriched uranium to be able to build one nuclear weapon. They may actually have a bit more. Whether they then, of course, have the full technical capability of going through all the tests and everything else remains to be seen. The question is not whether they have it. We knew they did. The question is why the senior advisor to the Iranian supreme leader decided to give an interview in which he stated this. What kind of signal is he trying to send with this statement?
And so what is the answer to that question, Dr. Parsi? What is the signal he's sending?
I think the signal they're sending is that as President Biden has gone to the Middle East, they've been talking a lot about organizing the Middle East against Iran, isolating Iran, containing Iran, talk about the Iranian threat. This is a typical counter response by the Iranians, which is that if you're going to treat Iran like a threat, then Iran actually is going to be more threatening. And moreover, mindful of the way that the nuclear talks have stalled, the Iranians are reminding the United States that if the United States is not showing flexibility, just as much as Biden recently said that he would be open to using military force if the Iranians don't come back into the agreement fully, the Iranians are sending a similar message to the United States saying, if the United States doesn't come back into the agreement, which Biden hasn't done since Trump left, then Iran has the capability of going to the bomb.
It seems like we're going down familiar pathways here. Our stated goal, prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, our likely accomplishment, make it more likely that they're reasonable for them to pursue a policy of acquiring a nuclear weapon because of our diplomatic or strategic blundering. Is that fair?
I think yes, and the big mystery is how come the Biden administration seems to have completely forgotten how to conduct effective diplomacy, mindful of the fact that Biden was the vice president when Obama actually did conduct effective diplomacy, at least in the case of Iran. Mm-hmm. The manner in which the Biden administration has pursued this is quite dramatically different from that of the choice of the Obama administration, from everything to creating the atmospherics, the manner in which the president is much more comfortable talking about the military threat. These are very, very different rhetorical tools and diplomatic tools that Biden administration is using compared to the Obama administration. And the difference, of course, is Obama was successful, and thus far Biden has not been successful.
Well, Dr. Parsi, couldn't somebody argue that the Middle East is simply a different place than when President Obama was in office? I mean, in a sort of post-Abraham Accords world where you have a new anti-Iran alliance forming between Israel, the UAE, and pretty soon probably Saudi Arabia as well, that the old toolbook is just no longer relevant because the Middle East has shifted so much.
Well, the Middle East has shifted a little bit. But the Abrams Accord is actually the old toolbox. It's the old toolbox in which we're creating blocks in the region, we're taking sides, we're dividing the region, and by that we're cementing conflict. What the Obama administration did through multilateral diplomacy, in the case of Iran at least, is that they open up the pathway to actually be able to resolve these tensions rather than cementing them. It's a mystery to me as to why the Biden administration has decided to continue the legacy of the Trump administration in the Middle East, which has been the Abrams Accord, rather than go back to the manner in which the Obama administration actually opened up not only pathways for diplomacy, but perhaps most importantly, open up pathways for the United States to bring troops home from the Middle East. If you listen carefully to what Biden said during his trip, he was saying, we're here to stay. We're not going to leave. Well, guess what? The American people want to leave the Middle East. They don't want to have this high level of military troops in the region because it entraps the United States into more wars. So Again, it's a mystery to me why they have chosen not only a path that hasn't worked, but also one that clearly is rejected by the American public.